So let's talk about this idea of spiritual growth or awakening, or maybe even use the big E word, enlightenment. How do we quantify this? How do we measure this? There's a curious thing for me anyway as it relates to spiritual teachers out there. I find that a lot of them don't really make much progress over time. How do I know this? Because I've interviewed them. I've been a host for the New Human Living radio podcast for the last 12 years. I've interviewed hundreds and hundreds of New Age thought, awakening, spiritual teachers, enlightenment teachers, and some of them certainly are evolving and growing in their spiritual development, and others not so much. There's a lot of teachers out there in the spiritual arena that I would suggest caution with. I mean, I guess it depends on how serious you are about your own spiritual growth. If you don't care, I don't care. But if you want to really make progress, if you're serious about your spiritual evolution, how do you put a metric to that? How do you frame or contextualize your own journey? I made a graph a while ago and I like it a lot. In this graph, the way it's shown here, there's very little karma and there's a lot of power. So this would be a sage or a alchemist or a savior, prophet. And if the gauge was flipped and the person was loaded up with karma and didn't have much power, that'd be a homeless person or a war vet with immense PTSD struggles. The curious thing about enlightenment is it's not a creation. It's not. You're enlightened now. You might not feel that way, but to put it in another way, your enlightenment is a discovery or maybe even a reunion of yourself, so to speak. Your enlightened self is here now. It has always been here now. The journey that you're seeking is a journey within yourself. No spiritual teacher can hand you enlightenment. There's nothing to be added to you to bring you to enlightenment. On the contrary, it's the removal of incongruent aspects of ourself that load us up, that load up our subconscious, that load up our energy field, our personal energy persona with denser, heavier energy. Now, your soul's not going to come into fear, doubt, lack, limitation. Your soul, by its very nature, will not embody those types of aspects. The journey home is really bringing the ego, cleansing the ego, purifying the ego, our thoughts, releasing and cleansing our emotions, learning to trust them and understand them. You don't get to enlightenment by leapfrogging over emotions. That's not how it works. You don't really want to leapfrog your emotions anyway. Well, maybe you do. That's up to you. But it's by going through your emotions that your emotions no longer become the struggle, but rather your ally, your companion. The emotions are there for you to learn. The emotions themselves are extremely impersonal, like the sound of an echo returning to you once you've hollered into the canyon. The echo is indifferent, it's impersonal, and so are your emotions. I suggest most of our trouble with emotions are not with the emotions themselves, they're impersonal, they're not biased, they don't care. It's our mind, our ego's relationship. And that can create quite a arena of challenge. Many people are have a very difficult time with their emotions. They have a very challenging relationship with their emotions, and it doesn't need to be that way because emotions are impersonal. You you can think of becoming enlightened as moving the vibrational equivalent of your ego up in frequency. Your soul's up there. Metaphorically, it's actually in there, but the way we think, the higher consciousness is above us metaphorically. Metaphorically, our soul is up there and our ego is down here. The soul doesn't come down to us. We cleanse and purify the ego and our personal energy body and move ourselves into alignment with our soul, and that's the movement into enlightenment. That is raw spiritual growth. To move this meter towards more power and less karma is spiritual growth itself, period. We could talk about it in strictly a vibrational frequency and energy term, but energy in and of itself doesn't mean anything. Power is the quantity or volume of energy. Anywho, I just wanted to mention this because there's so many teachers out there that they're not growing. They're not. And what they're teaching really isn't helping people. They're going to bump their heads into a glass ceiling because, I don't know. Do what you want forever, always. I don't want to tell you what to do, what to believe, what to think. How can you be authentic if you're mirroring someone else? But I do want to help you understand the mechanics of enlightenment, spiritual growth, the journey, and the last mile is always the journey within. Hi, I'm Les Jensen. I'm the founder of New Human Living. New Human Living. Our tagline is pure, as in your energy becoming pure, so you move into alignment with your soul. Authentic, you be you, don't be anybody else. Pure, authentic you. I'd love to help you with that, but that's up to you. What exciting times we're living now. Spiritual growth, spiritual evolution is what is going to anchor a better world in the hearts of humanity. I'd love to help you with that myself, only if you choose. I want to thank you for spending this time with me. I wish you the very best. Until next time, thanks for listening.